Football Focus exclusive Tottenham breaking news. Why Brennan Johnson screamed at Joao Palhinha and what Thomas Frank shouted at Tottenham players. Subscribe to our channel to get daily Tottenham breaking news and analysis through voice. Listen to the news and let us know what kind of news you want in the comments. Let's get started. Brennan Johnson's raw emotion was laid bare in a fiery clash that left Tottenham fans and neutral viewers stunned. The Welsh forward, normally known for his composure and explosive runs down the flank, found himself embroiled in a heated confrontation with Joao Palhinha, Fulham's relentless midfield enforcer, as tempers flared under the lights. For those in the stands, the scream that burst from Johnson wasn't just a cry of frustration. It was a snapshot of the intensity and boiling pressure that has become synonymous with Tottenham's season under Thomas Frank. The incident unfolded in the heart of midfield, where Palhinha had once again used his trademark physicality to halt a Tottenham breakaway. Johnson, sprinting onto a threaded pass, was clipped, pulled and bundled in a way that looked routine to some but cynical to others. As he tumbled to the ground, the whistle stayed silent. Palhinha smirked. That was the trigger. Johnson leapt up, face flushed, and screamed directly at the Portuguese destroyer, his voice carrying across the pitch. It wasn't just words, it was a roar of defiance, a declaration that Tottenham would not be bullied, not tonight. Teammates rushed to intervene, while Palhinha's unshakable grin only stoked the fire further. Johnson's outburst summed up the knife edge Tottenham were balancing on. This wasn't about one foul, it was about weeks of mounting frustration, questions over consistency, and the never-ending spotlight that follows this squad. For fans, the moment felt almost cathartic, proof that the players were not going to be walked over in a season where every point is fought for like gold dust. But while Johnson's eruption drew headlines, what Thomas Frank did on the touchline may have been even more telling. The Danish coach, in his trademark black tracksuit, patrolled his technical area like a man possessed. His shouts weren't the usual tactical directions. They were visceral, personal, laced with both fury and inspiration. At one point, with Tottenham looking flat-footed after a sustained Fulham press, Frank bellowed so loudly that even the back rows of the stadium could hear him. He singled out players by name, demanding urgency, pressing and courage. "Wake up! Fight for every blade," he barked, gesturing wildly at his midfield trio. His voice cracked at times, but the message was relentless, intensity or nothing. Those who know Frank understand this isn't theater, it's calculated psychology. His outbursts are not just directed at players, but at the energy of the entire arena. By roaring, stomping, and gesturing, he drags his squad into his own fever pitch of determination. For Johnson, still seething after the Palhinha altercation, Frank's rallying cry was fuel. The Welshman's runs became sharper, his pressing more venomous. Even when the ball didn't fall his way, his body language screamed defiance. Tottenham fans rose to their feet with each surge, feeding off the raw electricity that their manager had sparked. Palhinha, for his part, remained unbothered. The Fulham midfielder thrives on chaos, and Johnson's screams seemed to energize him further. Every tackle, every interception, every shove carried an edge. This duel became a subplot of the game, a clash of wills that the cameras could not look away from. Whenever Johnson received the ball, Palhinha was there, snapping at his heels, shoving his shoulder, reminding him that nothing would come easy. Whenever the whistle failed to blow, Frank's roars filled the void, demanding Tottenham turn fury into focus. The tactical backdrop made the story even richer. Frank had set Tottenham up in a way that demanded total commitment from wide players like Johnson. Palhinha, aware of the threat, was tasked with smothering transitions, breaking up play before Johnson and his teammates could build rhythm. This meant repeated collisions, both physical and mental. By the time Johnson screamed in his face, it was the culmination of 90 minutes of warfare disguised as football. Fans online exploded with reactions. Clips of Johnson's scream spread quickly, some hailing it as the passion Tottenham needed, others mocking it as a sign of being rattled. Yet the truth lies somewhere deeper. Football at this level is psychological combat as much as tactical execution. For Johnson, letting out that scream wasn't a weakness, it was a release, a refusal to back down against one of the Premier League's most feared midfield generals. For Thomas Frank, it was the spark he craved, proof that his players were absorbing his ferocious energy. After the final whistle, both men's actions were still being debated. Was Johnson right to lose control? Did Frank's shouting cross into desperation, or was it masterful motivation? What no one could deny was the spectacle it created. Tottenham, a club too often accused of lacking steel, looked different in those moments. They looked angry, alive, desperate to prove a point. This match may not define the season, but the scenes of Johnson's scream and Frank's touchline roars will linger. They symbolize a Tottenham side reshaped by fire, one no longer content to play pretty football without bite. Against Palingha, against Fulham, against the doubts that shadow them, they showed they are willing to fight. Sometimes a scream says more than a goal. Sometimes a manager's roar can shift the pulse of an entire team. For Tottenham fans, that sound may ring out for weeks to come.